Right, this is chapter 4, Turkish Delight. But what are you? Said the Queen again. Are you a great overgrown dwarf that has cut off his beard? No, your Majesty, said Edmund. I never had a beard. I'm a boy. A boy, she said. Do you mean you're a son of Adam? Edmund stood still, saying nothing. He was too confused by this time to understand what the question meant. I see you are an idiot, whatever else you may be, said the Queen. Answer me, once and for all, or I shall lose my patience. Are you human? Yes, your Majesty, said Edmund. And how, pray, did you come to enter my dominions? Please, your Majesty, I came in through a wardrobe. A wardrobe? What do you mean? I opened a door and just found myself here, your Majesty, said Edmund. Ha! Said the Queen, speaking more to herself than him. A door from the world of men. I have heard of such things. This may wreck all. But he is only one, and he is easily dealt with. As she spoke these words, she rose from her seat and looked Edmund full in the face, her eyes flaming. At the same moment, she raised her wand. Edmund felt sure that she was going to do something dreadful, but he seemed unable to move. Then, just as he gave himself up for lost, she appeared to change her mind. My poor child, she said in quite a different voice, how cold you look. Come and sit with me here on the sledge, and I will put my mantle around you and we will talk. Edmund did not like this arrangement at all, but he dared not disobey. He stepped onto the sledge and sat at her feet, and she put a fold of her fur mantle around him and tucked it well in. Perhaps something hot to drink, said the Queen. Should you like that? Yes, please, your Majesty, said Edmund, whose teeth were chattering. The Queen took from somewhere among her wrappings a very small bottle which looked as if it were made of copper. Then, holding out her arm, she let one drop fall from it on the snow beside the ledge. Edmund saw the drop for a second in mid-air, shining like a diamond. But the moment it touched the snow, there was a hissing sound, and there stood a jewelled cup full of something that steamed. The dwarf immediately took this and handed it to Edmund with a bow and a smile. Not a very nice smile. Edmund felt much better as he began to sip the hot drink. It was something he'd never tasted before, very sweet, foamy and creamy, and it warmed him right down to his toes. It is dull, son of Adam, to drink without eating, said the Queen presently. What would you like best to eat? Turkish Delight, please, your Majesty, said Edmund. The Queen let another drop fall from her bottle onto the snow, and instantly there appeared a round box tied with green silk ribbon, which, when opened, turned out to contain several pounds of the best Turkish delight. Each piece was sweet and light to the very centre, and Edmund had never tasted anything more delicious. He was quite warm now and very comfortable. While he was eating, the Queen kept asking him questions. At first, Edmund tried to remember that it's rude to speak with one's mouth full, but soon he forgot about this and thought only of trying to shovel down as much Turkish delight as he could, and the more he ate, the more he wanted to eat, and he never asked himself why the Queen should be so inquisitive. She got him to tell her that he had one brother and two sisters, and that one of his sisters had already been in Narnia and met a faun there, and that no one except himself and his brothers and sisters knew anything about Narnia. She seemed especially interested in the fact that there were 4 of them, and kept coming on back to it. You are sure there are just 4 of you? She asked. 2 sons of Adam and 2 daughters of Eve, neither more nor less. And Edmund, with his mouthful of Turkish light, kept saying, Yes, I told you that before, and forgetting to call her your Majesty, but she didn't seem to mind now. At last the Turkish delight was finished, and Edmund was looking very hard at the empty box and wishing that she would ask him whether he would like some more. Probably the Queen knew quite well what he was thinking, but she knew, though Edmund did not, that this was enchanted Turkish delight, and that anyone who once tasted it would want more and more of it, and would even, if they were allowed, go on eating it till they killed themselves. But she did not offer him any more. Instead, she said to him, "Son of Adam, I should so much like to see your brother and your 2 sisters. Will you bring them to see me?" "I'll try," said Edmund, still looking at the empty box. "Because if you did come again, bringing them with you, of course, I'd be able to give you some more Turkish delight. I can't do it now. The magic will only work once. In my house, it would be another matter." "Why can't we go to your house now?" said Edmund. When he had first got on the sledge, he had been afraid that she might drive away with him to some unknown place from which he would not be able to get back, but he had forgotten that fear now. "It's a lovely place, my house," said the Queen. "I'm sure you like it. There are whole rooms full of Turkish delight, and what's more, I have no children of my own. I want a nice boy whom I could bring up as a prince, and who would be king of Narnia when I'm gone. While he was prince, he would wear a gold crown and eat Turkish delight all day long, and you are much the cleverest and handsomest young man I have ever met. I think I would like to make you the prince some day, when you bring the others to visit me." "Why not now?" said Edmund, his face becoming very red and his mouth fingers were sticky. He did not look either clever or handsome, whatever the Queen might say. "Oh, but if I took you there now," she said, "I shouldn't see your brothers and sisters. I very much want to know your charming relations. You are able to be the prince, and later on the king. That is understood. But you must have courtiers and nobles. I will make your brother a duke, and your sisters duchesses." And I'm going to stop there.